But looking at your bio, something I didn't know anything about was the fact that during World War II, or after World War II, you were assigned to the USS Haven and participated in the atomic bomb tests at Bikini Island. Or was it just bomb test looking at bikinis? I'm not sure what that said here. A little vague. Anyways, talk about that, because I had no clue you were part of that.
In the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean lies the tiny coral atoll of Bikini. It is here that Joint Army-Navy Task Force 1 will conduct the tests with the atom bomb. Not since the discovery of gunpowder has the world wondered over the ability of man to create such an agent of destruction.
Well, I was stationed in the States, and look, I didn't join the Navy to be in an office job, and so I volunteered for overseas duty. In the meantime, the war came to an end without my conquering the Japanese all by myself, and not at all, but eventually when the atomic bomb had been tested, they did want to test it out in the ocean. And so I got assigned there. I was assigned to that hospital ship you mentioned, the USS Haven. An opportunity to witness that bombing of the ships that we had out in Bikini. They were different old ships, and they had put a lot of animals aboard those ships. I don't know if my wife would have approved of that, but they had animals on them in order to determine what effect that the radiation would have on. So the day of the test, I remember distinctly they provided us with glasses that actually you couldn't see through until the bomb exploded. Then it was like daylight, and you could see the mushroom that all of you have seen on television. And I was within 5 miles of that, our ship was, and I could just feel the heat as though I had opened the door to the furnace, the coal furnace that we had at home years ago. Many of the men, I don't recall any women nurses there, or women at all, but many of the men did develop cancer later on, testicular cancer. And so I held my breath for a few years and escaped that particular experience.
We do a project here at the Jackson Center where we've been interviewing folks who were part of the World War II experience. And last Saturday we interviewed a person who was on shore patrol in Tokyo Bay, and he was there 5 days after Nagasaki was bombed. And it was just riveting, his description of that. What's your description of it? I mean, as you saw, as part of your service, the atomic bomb, you saw the mushroom, you felt the heat, you saw the. What's your sense of all this from a strategic military perspective?
Well, knowing that similar bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, and knowing of that, I knew what the potential, the potency of that atomic bomb was. I had mixed emotions about whether or not we should have dropped it on those innocent, I call them innocent, Japanese citizens. But President Truman felt, as you know, that if the war extended, there would be a lot more, many more American soldiers, men and women, that would become victims of the war, fatalities. And he felt that something was needed to bring that war to an end, because the enemy literally were fanatics, many of them. And you know about the dive bombers, many of those who literally committed their lives and death to accomplish their goal of trying to win the war. So taking that all into account, I couldn't help but be literally speechless and overcome by the impact of that bomb.